there's another movie that came up, Goat, which is like a fraternity hazing movie.
Yeah.
But like hardcore.
It's fucking
one
looked
of the clips,
intense.
One of the clips was like it's a mix of Full Metal Jacket and something else. I forget. But I mean, just like the first part of Full Metal Jacket seems like kind of almost the tone of a lot of this movie.
Here's what I really want to get into in this movie. If James Franco is just like a former,
he's like the evil.
I'm saying he's got to be like a former brother.
But look at like Bert Kreischer, who was in school for a long time.
But James Franco is
like, this is like the
40.
Dark, what if this is like the dark, like Bert
Dark Van
Kreischer?
Wilder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, Jesus.
Would be way better than the Van. I tried to watch Van Wilder again now.
It was funny when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw it, I liked it. But yeah, this is like hardcore. It looks great though. When I was watching, I was like, "Holy shit!"
I gave the thumbs up right after it. Nick Jonas of the Jonas Brothers is the one on the right.
Oh, okay.
Looked pretty intense. Like
all the acting looks great. And it's like college students going into a fraternity and they're being hazed.
This is not your fucking
the trailer
neighbors.
Is great. I love the trailer because they like integrated slaps.
This
with
isn't
the music.
a fun fraternity movie.
Oh, it is. It is the dark Van. It's the opposite end of Van Wilder. It's like if you were to take the reality version of Van Wilder and dip it in PTSD.
It's like old school, but it's Guantanamo Bay old school.
This is what old people want to bring America back to.
Yeah,
they want this kind of thing still going on in their fraternities. Although I'm sure it was way more pussified when like the grandfathers of these kids were.
It's in the trailer at one point. Like the dude spits in the other dude's face and then like lands on his mouth.
Didn't seem to like phase him at all. It seems like he had been broken. He is soulless at that point. It's a really good trailer though.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the trailer. I
was like, I want to watch this now.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know if the movie's going to be exciting. I have a feeling it's going to have.
We could get bait and switched on this, but it looked good.
I don't think so, man. I think it's.
And I've never heard about this. Anything about this.
Nah, but that's the thing. When you go to independent theater, it's like you're seeing different shit. You're in a completely different world. You're a completely different world than like the AMCs and the Regals.
Yeah, there were
like that's a whole different universe that doesn't. These are two different universes that don't mingle.
Random older white people up in there.
Yeah. That kid that was in. That's like the youngest person. I'm usually the youngest person that goes to these movies. Usually younger people work there, but independent movie theater when you go there at a 2:00 show during the like a weekday. Yeah. You're gonna be the youngest dude there.
Yeah.
But I love it because it's like old people, unless they can't hear well,
they don't say shit during the movie.
And he's so spread out. There's so much room. I love it. So go check out Goat, GOAT, which I'm
check out the trailer.
That should be greatest of all time is what Goat stands for. I don't know if that's what it means because that's a weird title, kind of. For
could
the
be
movie,
the fraternity
he
acronym.
kills everybody, and he's the greatest of the fraternity because he out-hazed everybody.
It could just be their fraternity acronym. I don't know if those are all Greek letters, but I know A, the O.
Yeah, but
thing.
just goat is the term goat. It could be something else.
Maybe that's
what they slaughter.
Maybe they make someone fuck a goat or something.
Yeah, and then eat its heart.
Who knows?
By the trailer, it's like.
They're not going to show us the darkest shit in the trailer.
And fuck the goat is more Van Wilder. Eat the heart of the goat is more this movie.
I'd say this one might be both.
Yeah, that's true. It looked good though.
We saw a movie today.
We did. We went and saw another movie.
We talked about it as one of the trailers from last week's episode, and it was Goat.
Yeah, we saw Goat today. Because the trailer looked awesome.
Looked fucking awesome. I was excited about this one.
It's a like college frat hazing movie. Is what it looked like. You know,
that's what it was.
A lot of slow motion in the trailer, which there was only the intro scene. Like the intro scene, it's like, oh, here we go. I was kind of excited. I was like, oh man,
walking into
this is gonna be so good.
Fuck yeah,
this movie's gonna be fucking crazy. Yeah, and the trailer's awesome, and It stars Ben Schnitzer and Nick Jonas, and he's featured is James Franco.
Who's in
James Franco?
Very prominent in the trailer.
Yeah. 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 He's definitely a big part of the trailer. Not a huge part of the trailer, but he was definitely most of what's in the movie is in the trailer.
As much as
Yeah. Because he's only in a scene. Spoilers. Oh yeah. By the way, a movie that you're probably not going to see. But if you do, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. I couldn't necessarily. With independent movies, I very rarely recommend it to people just because.
I say we spoil the shit out of it because at the end of
for
it,
sure.
I'm not going to fucking recommend this. Spoiler alert
Our
right there.
Spoiler episode might be.
I'm spoiling the spoiler by telling you, wasn't that good?
Yeah, I mean, overall, we both didn't enjoy it, but we're going to get into why. So look forward to that. I mean, the trailer sets it off. Like, I mean, if anybody's watching, for sure watch the trailer. The trailer, like some other bad movies we've seen this year, the trailer was the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best part. So watch the trailer and then, like, imagine
how awesome that movie would be. And then you've got way better movie. Than
it really seems like they based the movie off of the trailer. It really seems like they nailed the trailer, they sold the movie, and then they're like, "Oh, you got money now, so let's flesh this out."
What do we do here? Like, I don't know how to connect all that shit.
Independent movies, they love to take time. Notoriously slow burns. So like the beginning of this movie, like there's this scene that no idea was going to happen where one of the main character guys after this party, like the party scene. Well, first it opens a bunch of shirtless dudes, slow motion, like they're watching a fight in Fight Club, but they're out in the backyard instead of in a basement.
Yeah.
Like just jumping up and down, like fucking screaming, super slow motion, different angles.
Weird shot. I just still don't. What was it? Two girls mud wrestling or doing some wrestling of some sort?
I don't even remember what happened. I just know that it ends up going to a room at night, and like chicks are making out, and like they're doing blow. Yeah, it's like, but that scene didn't seem to be handled that well. So I was like, oh, that's like the first. It wasn't bad. But it was also like, for a party, you want to talk about low key.
Oh, no.
Like, the party scenes in, like, the first part of this movie should have been a high warning of, like, the tempo. Like, if we're in these, like, hyped fucking college frat parties.
And we're whispering upstairs.
And we're just like, oh, let's just be quiet while we watch these two chicks make out. Which is, like, not... It was like nothing. It was like the most G-rated, like,
oh
it's
my
like,
God, two girls making out. I've never seen that before in my life.
This movie almost seems like it's somebody who's like a Mormon who's never actually experienced the college experience, but they've watched movies. Yeah, and they wrote a script.
I heard that they fucking do this and that.
It has moments where it's like, oh, this could be like, this is the moment where it's like shit's gonna pop off. This is gonna be the moment where it's gonna get real. And we're going to get invested, and it's like we're going to be like, holy shit, that slow burn was well worth it. But then they're Mormon, so they don't actually know how reality is, so everything's kind of like, oh, there's a goat that you're supposed to fuck, but at no point did it seem like anybody was actually going to fuck a goat. Right? But it should have been a scene. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't a Mormon writing, which I don't know who wrote it, I'm just saying it felt like that in a way, where it's like, oh, that's the craziest thing. They had to sleep on a tarp with a goat, and they drank a lot of alcohol because alcohol's sin.
Even in the beginning, after the party scene, where...
So did we... The premise of the movie? College... Yeah, we did. So anyway, so beginning of the movie.
Fraternity. Yeah. But after the party scene, kid goes out to his car because he wants to leave because he just feels uncomfortable. Yeah. And some dude asked him for a ride. I knew right away. It seemed shady.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me go get my buddy. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like,
you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, you already know. It's like, oh, this idiot made a bad mistake.
And it goes so slow. And then it's so...
Which, that's the part that's not in the trailer.
I felt uncomfortable. Like, and it's maybe supposed to make me feel... Like, that scene, though, I just like...
I think the movie.
What the fuck is this? I'm like, this isn't even.
Yeah.
And especially since we talked about it before this, like it had no score to it at all either. So it was like just a lot of silence and uncomfortableness.
That's with independent movies, like with budget. It's hard.
I get it,
you know. So that's kind of common.
Jesus, someone play a
But
slow
the tempo
flute
of the movie
in the background or something.
The fucking party scenes were low tempo. We have more exciting conversations just sitting on a couch, us two, with the fucking podcast going, that are have more like energy than those party scenes out. Not when the fucking music's going and it's like that living room scene. But everywhere else in this, every like part, it's just like, it's
like when they get to the lake house and they're just all sitting around tables and
it's the movie fucked up at a lot of places. Like,
it
it's
had
super
so
slow.
many weird premises. Like they would start an arc. It seemed like.
Well, yeah, it's like
the between like the main character and this one girl. Like, that's kind of how the beginning of the movie, besides him getting beat up and robbed, is going around. And then he kisses her after that. And then she's not in the fucking movie again.
Yeah.
Or maybe I fucking just
like
passed out from fucking...
They missed out on, like kind of having... Like, it seemed like the movie wanted you to give a fuck about the main character, dude. The emo, the guy that got beat up.
This movie didn't make me care about anyone.
Yeah, but that's like if the movie had done its job, then that scene maybe where he gets beat up, we would have given a shit.
I didn't give a fuck about the kid that died.
Because we didn't even know. Yeah, we didn't know.
I didn't give a fuck about anyone in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I actually, as far as like anybody that I would give a shit about, the guy that died, I probably cared more about him. Because he was like... He was the only one treated differently. Like, they had to, like, shove him in a cage, and, like, he actually went through some shit.
He warned him not to throw up.
He went through more shit.
He told him not to throw up.
Yeah, but he went through more shit than, like, any character in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he had the biggest arc because he dies. Everybody else, nobody changes.
He did have an end to his story.
Nobody changes.
He had an end
Every single person, the main character, is just as non-reactionary when somebody is, like, threatening his life. The end of the movie where he gets spit in the face, that's in the trailer, like the whole movie, this guy does nothing. He's like the Jesus of this fucking story, where he's like, I'll turn the other cheek. Even going through the hazing, which the hazing part of this movie was kind of, if anything, was exciting or there was something to it.
If that
was kind of something.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like I've seen
didn't go far enough.
I've seen comedy.
People should have fucked
the
goats.
worst part was like
people should have been like blacked. People should have been blacking out,
blindfolded, and trying to make them suck their dick, but it was just like a banana and a condom, or just one was just like a banana.
Yeah,
that was as far as it went.
Yeah, it was like a Mormon wrote it. I mean, maybe not a Mormon, but somebody super naive to how life is. And they're like, oh, that's the line where this fraternity is going to go. They're going to put a banana in a condom. It's like, no, there's probably, like, if they actually fed him shit and, like, put the dick in the mouth, then you're like, oh, that is fucking... Then you're like, then you give a shit about the people that are getting hazed, because clearly that's too far. You start doing that shit with the whole thing is like, oh, this fraternity is too... It's like one of the points of the movie that they never really hit is that the hazing and all that shit is like, it's all under the radar. They go through the motions like a business would with HR shit. And then all the same bullshit happens. It's just they do the technical shit and then they tell everybody, don't say anything or you're fucking done. They threaten them. But it's like...
Well, I guess we've started so much. Premise of the whole thing is...
Well, that's what the movie's...
Nick Jonas is an older brother. He's at a fraternity. Ben, we'll call the emo long-haired kid.
Schnitzer.
Whatever.
Schnitzer.
Is his younger brother. Goes to pledge there.
This dude.
Yeah. That guy.
These are brothers facing off, and that's the only one I gave a shit about. He's not a brother.
Yeah, I didn't
well, I guess they're technically all brothers because they're fraternities.
But here's what... then that's when everything else happens. But Nick Jonas's character as the older brother, if I was the younger brother and I went through all that shit and my brother was like trying to help me or being like weird about... I would be like,
kind of like patronize, like I know you're weak, so I'm helping you through this.
Yeah,
process.
I'd be like, motherfuckers, stop it! Like, you're making it worse on me.
Yeah,
because you want to fucking. You're like, dude, she's had enough. It's like
you're making me look weak.
Yeah,
because you're trying to help me,
and then
because I got beat up in the beginning of this movie, so I'm supposed to be a fucking pussy, you know? Yeah.
But yeah, so if I was him, I'd be pissed off at him more than anything. And then, so
and the Jonas,
yeah,
not a performance where it's like he wasn't bad, but there was just no performance.
No one was terrible. There was no terrible performance.
James Franco, best performance
in the 5 minutes he was in it. Yes.
The best part of that movie, there was energy.
He was like
scenes.
A real life Frank the Tank.
The only time in this whole movie that had any kind of energy that was like was that those scenes, because he was fucking in it. He was doing it. He's like, hey, let's do this shit. Where everybody else is very like.
Because even the head hazing dude at the frat,
the hemp choker,
yeah,
guy,
the hemp choker guy,
which is like, I don't care
so
how big you are,
late 90s.
You're wearing a hemp choker, you can go suck your own dick.
Yeah,
because I'm not scared of you, weightlifter guy wearing a fucking hemp choker.
First of all, he wasn't even that big, but he was
the
big,
biggest.
He was
of
bigger
all
compared
of
to the other kids.
Yeah. They're all college kids,
but he never would like. His intensity never. He was probably the worst performance because I never felt his intensity even when he was hazing him.
Yeah. No, the intensity of this movie and the level they go to, it goes to an 8. Franco did an 8.5, and this movie needed moments where like you hit.
If it's gonna be that slow, you better fucking hit when you hit.
You need to have somebody fucking a goat. You need to have this guy fuck a goat. I thought he was gonna fuck.
I thought they were gonna, and I thought he would have done it willingly.
Yeah,
because that kid would have done anything to his one talk about.
He should have been the fucking under main character.
I will say this: his one speech about like it. I can't quit because this is everything. Mm-hmm. When he described it, like that was maybe the best dialogue in the whole movie because like it really
means something.
You really got it. You got you got the fact that like you are going to be around these kids for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
If you fail out, if you flunk out, you're going to run into them at every party.
Yeah.
You're always going to be branded a fucking piece of shit quitter. Or loser.
Which that's the perspective that he had, but the reality of the situation is there's a lot of people.
Is more with Nick Jonas in the end where it's like none of this fucking really matters.
Yeah, because he was ahead of him and he was like the voice of reason, but there was just nothing there. Like he was the voice of reason that was like the most bland, boring, nothing.
But
thing.
Why he went from so hardcore into his brother getting into his
he was helping frat, and he was helping in hazing,
and then one day he woke up and was like, I'm fucking over this, none of this means anything.
This was his acting. So yeah. Oh no. Party. I didn't think you'd have it. It's like that was the intensity. It was like every time, doesn't matter what conversation he's having in the classroom, he's just tapping the fucking pen on the thing, and he's like, well, this is the most. It's like they film those scenes. It's like the same scene, they just split it in half, and they're like, oh, we'll use that for this other character. But it's like it was just
but you know what I'm saying? There. Out of nowhere, he went from I'm almost one of the tops of this fraternity to my brother got smacked in the face once, and all of a sudden now I'm like, fuck it, none of this means anything. It's all bullshit, and I'll fucking narc out my own fraternity.
And that wasn't smacked in the face. My brother just got beaten. It wasn't the beginning of the film.
No.
It was just getting smacked in the face.
Yes.
It was just, like, oh, you're going to smack each other.
He's not enough.
There's fucking UFC fighters that use that to get pumped up. It's not like, oh, that's too far.
There's a lot of people that just smack each other in the face.
Yeah, that's too far. There's been a couple nights where it's like, hey, let's punch each other in the face night. You know, you're not really punching each other hard, but you're still punching each other in the face. You know, and it was just like, that's why I think this movie was like written by somebody who's really naive about the reality of, or somewhere in there an investor or something was like they did go and they cut it out, but it didn't seem like it. Just seemed like they didn't go. It was everything was like at a simmer when that should have been on a boil.
I feel like this entire movie, there was a different movie shot.
Yeah.
And we'll never see that movie, and because they took all the extra scenes and made this movie because nothing ever goes anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no culmination to anything.
No. But here's the thing, though. To be fair, on the scale of independent movies, like, it's a different scale than when you go to like an AMC and watch a movie, where it's like there's a lot of independent movies that kind of do this kind of thing where there's like, man, there's a lot of potential at moments. Sometimes we'll get like Morris from America, where there's like, it hits, even though it's slow, it hits these highs that were like, it gets you like invested somewhat in the thing, and it's like you're in it.
That was a slow movie, but at least every 20 minutes or 15 minutes there was something that was like, boom, exactly. Solid.
This had all of those opportunities sprinkled throughout the whole movie, and it's like they went up, plateaued, and then went back down, where there should have been a fucking spike. There should have been like, there's so many scenes where it goes in R and ends up G or PG, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna, like, his first sexual, like, if they wanted to make this a fucking gritty, like, college, like, let's talk some shit about the bad things of college. Like, they could have had his first sexual experience where he's fucking wasted at the party and he's having sex with the chick, and then he says he loves her, and then she's like, oh, maybe not. Like they could have made, it would have been a good choice, but they could have been like, oh, college rape. Maybe he's like, or somebody else, maybe not the main character, or it's, hazing. It's like, oh, that dude should have died in the hazing. But the hazing was like so, like,
if anything, they would have had to have died of alcohol poisoning. And
yeah, it's how much alcohol they're drinking and still going strong. It's like, I drank a lot when in my 20s, but you're not doing that shit. You're not chugging like bottles of hard alcohol and beers
and doing push-ups and getting abused.
Yeah, and then like still keeping it together to like get shit done. It seemed like it was written by somebody that's never even been close to those scenarios.
Yeah. I really feel like they
But the trailer is amazing. The trailer is amazing.
An alien came down, an alien wearing human skin came down and was like, hey, I
mean, you take like a sheltered like religious of any of the religion, not just Mormon, but like Christian or whatever, where they homeschool them and they censor the movies
There's
they watch.
not even a moral to this story.
There may have been.
Where?
I don't know, man.
I was looking.
But there may have been. I don't know what the director's point of this movie was. There was so much opportunity to speak about something. Like anything, but nothing. Like even bestiality doesn't happen. It's like the most.
No culmination to the guys that beat him up, except for we find out that one guy got shot while he was robbing something. There's no culmination to the girl he had a crush on. There's no culmination to what happened with the fraternity after they got narked out.
They just got suspended. It's like even that shit was like, oh, it's mediocre.
And what does that mean?
It's mediocre.
They got suspended. They can't live in the house?
They just can't have a fucking fraternity. Yeah, probably. They shut the house. That's what, like, all the fucking college comedies, like PCU or whatever. Oh, yeah. It's all about shutting the fraternity down. Yeah, it's all this. It's like the same premises to like all the college things. And it's like a comedy, and they tried to do it serious, but they didn't even try to. It's like, if you watch the trailer, it seems like a gritty, raw, like, view into like the horrible dark side of fraternity hazing
and how it might be able to fuck some kid up.
The trailer does way more of like portraying the intensity of what they could have done, and then it really seems like they had a trailer and they're like, well, let's fill it in. Let's just kind of explain.
I wish I would have only seen the trailer and never seen the movie. And
well, it just happened to be.
It could live on in my head as like.
It's disappointing.
Remember that great movie that we saw a trailer for, but it never really got released?
But here's the magic of like, if it had been like actually, if it had lived up to the trailer, what a like little gem. Like, because
been
most
all over,
people aren't going to be seeing
I'd have
it.
been all over fucking social media, fucking being like, "Go see Goat."
But that's why I love
find this shit.
Yeah, that's why I love going to those because you'll run into this, and it's like not. This is probably the slowest out of the 5 that I've seen or 4 that I've seen there, but most of them are pretty good. But this one is just like they had so much opportunity to hook, but they didn't hook anything, and the whole title was kind of disappointing that it was just that's what they called the new recruits were goats.
Yeah, and
even though we found out, which was the first time that they actually got a goat.
Yeah,
but it, didn't end up being that crazy anyway. They're like, oh, you got a fucking goat. What's the crazy thing we're gonna do with this goat? We're gonna make the goat sleep in a shed with a bunch of drunk kids. That's the worst thing that happens to that goat, and then we're gonna spray paint it. Rat fuck or whatever. Yeah, so I recommend checking out the trailer and seeing the best version of this movie.
What do you give it?
Man,
I'll go first. I'm
Okay.
going 4.5.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 5.
I can't even go 5.
I wish I knew what I gave some other movies this year.
I know. We should keep
it would
track
be
of
around.
that shit.
It would probably be around that. Although I'd almost give this a little bit higher than that, just because they didn't have millions and millions of dollars to throw away on bullshit. They weren't wasteful with their money.
They could have gave them all the money in the world with that story, and it still would have looked like shit. Or
no, it's just you get a better director in there, and it's just they told a story. They just never went anywhere with it. They told a story. I mean,
it's like everything is a story.
No, not every movie you go to will tell a story.
There was no story. I mean, there was.
Dude, it was a story. It was boring. It wasn't well written, but it was a story. At no point where we're like, it's not jumping from like a scene to like a completely different part of the country, and then like, oh, there's this different. Like, it's not good.
I get you there.
It's not good, but it's not a good story. But they did the basic function of a movie and told a story.
It's a story about nothing.
Nothing really happened, but it was a fucking story versus multi-million-dollar movies that can't even fucking tell a story. So they can fuck themselves. This movie wasn't good, but at least, they tried. The story wasn't great.
They tried.
But it wasn't like we were watching shitty performances.
No,
we were watching
I said that even with the no one was terrible.
It was mediocre in so much of everything. Mediocre and stretched out.
Inches away from greatness, miles away from good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd give it, an average score.
I do not recommend you go spend money on this shit. If it ends up on Netflix, good on you. Take that chance.
Here's the thing. I've seen movies like that, and then there's people that love that movie. They're guaranteed there's an audience of people that love that fucking movie.
I'm sure that,
which is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not in that group.
I'm sure plenty of people like that movie.
There's
but
people that it's life changing. Guaranteed. That movie changed somebody's life. Which, if somebody can get that out of it, at least one person, cool. I didn't make the movie.